There I am. It says it's scheduled. Well, there I am. I can see my big, gigantic face. Let me make sure I have volume. There I do. I'm good. We are good to go. Hello, everybody. So my desk is a mess. Absolute mess. I ordered stuff from Temu and Amazon and everywhere else. Stuff has come in. I don't even know what I'm getting, but I'm getting it. Up. One of these is a puller tool. A rig puller tool. I remember. Oh, yeah, I remember why I bought it. So it's supposed to. It's extra strong, full wire, overmolded knot, blah, blah, blah. Dual stripper blades for convenient damage free. Hook link coating. Okay, sure, why not? Curved shrink tube forming section specifically designed to protect fingers from hot steam. Hair length markers on rear spaced every 5 millimeters. Well, I'll be darned. Maybe, yeah. Whatever. Ergonomically, yeah, whatever. Okay. So it's another thing saying, hello, fishy friend. And I should look at my tablet because it's so much easier to read. Let me. Sorry. I'm getting my head out of my tush. It fits so well, you know. So this came off of, should come off of Amazon, but I think it came via Chinese post. So it, hey, look, there's something I can cut. I didn't cut. Here's some braid. Let's see if it cuts. Okay, so far, it's not doing well. 0.3, 0.4, I don't know what that is. I think those are supposed to be cutters. But, yeah, they ain't cutting. So there is that. It's got a ding with flicky over here on the side. I think it's for pulling knot. I don't know what that's. I should probably read the instructions. But it's a rig puller is what it is. Hey, Mandy's Candy. Hello, Martinez Jason. How are you? I don't speak whatever that is. They're sister videos, so I can't really be useful to you. So, English is all I've got. It's all I know. I barely even know that. So please don't expect me to do other languages too, because that's a lot of work. Folks, I just got in off a long road trip. What are these? Oh, I know what these are. So these are things. Am I fishing in South Carolina? No, absolutely not. I'm sitting on my fat butt in Memphis. So these go around your spools. Apparently it needs to go around a fuller spool. And then there's a hole in it. Remember, sunshine. Like so that it holds your line in place on the spool so it doesn't like de-spool and go everywhere. So I think those are cool. I got apparently 5 of those in that little bag. So there's that. Not gonna lie, you think I might like fishing. Hey, you are not wrong. Hello from Utah, Jackie Kaywood. Good to see you, my friend. And hello, Alistair, Brazil loves me. Glad somebody does, because it's really cool. Dark Devil, what is my favorite YouTuber? Well, now that's a loaded question. I mean, look at me. I mean, who wouldn't be? I mean, I have to be everybody's favorite, right? Probably not. Outdoor Boys, if I have to pick one, he puts up videos every week. He used to do the Catfishing Carp channel, but he made more money off of the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel. They do fishing. They do homesteading up in Alaska right now. They're fixing up a place up there. He does all kinds of camping in conditions I wouldn't want to go out in, but it seems to make him happy. And he used to be a lawyer, but he made more money on YouTube. So he quit being a lawyer. Do I time my own flies? I don't. Pick an airplane or car type. Okay. These edits nonsense, please. I don't know. I have nothing for you, okay? So here's how this works, okay? One, I don't care about your edits. I don't care to be featured in your edits. That's content I've put out, and you're trying to make money off of other people's content, which I think is a shitty thing to do. Now, that's not to say that, you know, you can't reuse other people's content and modify it in a meaningful way, but you're not. So there's that. Do I tie my own flies? No, I have tried tying jigs a few times. I don't fly fish, so there's that. Favorite soup for the holidays? Now, Michael Madden, I mean, out of all the questions I've been asked that are remotely related to fishing, that's not one of them. But man, I do love some baked potato soup. But for the holidays? Oh, don't know at all. Hey, nobody, really good to see you, my friend. So, I'm going to sound like an absolute sissy here. Neosporin with lidocaine, and I'm hoping it's either a cream or an ointment. It's ointment, yay. Okay, so from my trip in Florida, I did a lot of fishing. I think I counted them up. I did over 32 hours live streaming in 4 days. So my hands are dry and cut up and stuff, and I've been needing lotion, but I also have, like I say, cuts and stuff, and there we go. So while not the sexiest thing in the world, I'm not the sexiest thing in the world, so that works out. So get super glue. I am super glue is not going to help dry hands. Also, I'd probably, end up having to go to the doctor and go, hey, can you get this off of my, we're not going to talk about that. That's just for another day. I'm opening packages that I got while I was gone. I got a 3-in-1 puller tool that so far it's supposed to have a cutter on it, and the cutter doesn't cut anything. Let's see, here's some, that's the same piece of mono I tried to cut. And try cutting braid, that didn't work either. Here's a whole bunch of, come here. A whole bunch of mono that's just laying on my desk because it unrolled from one of my spools. So we'll give you one more shot. This is 40-pound mono. If you can't cut 40-pound mono, you're a piece of crap. You're a piece of crap. There we go. So who cares, right? My desk is a mess. I've been tying rigs right before I went. Just got home. Didn't clean up before I left because, how that goes. So for spring break this year, Ashley and I and her kids went to Pensacola. Now, I am beyond fortunate. Her father has a house there, and he was there for the first couple of days, and he let us stay there while he wasn't there. And it's kind of funny because my great uncle, God rest his soul, used to have a house on Lake of the Ozarks. And because I was I wasn't his direct descendants, I never, got to go there by myself and never asked because, but his kids and grandkids would go there. And at one point he just finally had to go, look, y'all are leaving the house in a shambles every time you go. We're done. That's my house. It's there for when I can go. I don't get to go as often as I want to because I'm working to pay for it. And you guys are wrecking the place, leaving it, your raccoons getting in, stuff like that, or leaving food in the fridge that just spoils. And he had to stop it. So I'm very cognizant of that. And what? Oh, these are, I know what these are. More of my order from Temu. I mean, if Amazon, so as you get older, Amazon is really cool because even if it gets there in 2 days, you forgot what you ordered before it gets there. What do we got here? We have, solder, which was going to go good with these. These are Anderson brand, and they're not Anderson brand. They're Anderson style connectors for attaching batteries. And so there's like the guts to them. And, and they have, I don't know. I do not know. But, so that's the guts to these connectors, and the connectors, I'll grab 2 of them so we can all show you. I think they're used a lot on RVs. But basically, they fit together like so. And they snap together once you get the guts in them. And so you can't reverse them and all that kind of fun stuff. And there you go. So those are what those are. And the solder is so I can solder the wires into them. Okay, that can go away. Now, this should be, and it is, yay me. Okay. I don't know if it's still live on Woot or not, If it is, today is like the last day. But this, I ordered this and it came in. It is a National Geographic travel video tripod, aluminum, two-way head, converts to a monopod, telescopic central column, twist lock with 5 sections, yada. Bye-bye. Comes with a bag that is not padded. I don't care. The one thing I don't like about any of these tripod bags, so it's like one you can put over your shoulder. That's not what I don't like. Is that there really isn't much room in here for accoutrements. Like, you know, the attachment so you could put on your cell phone or your GoPro or whatever. I mean, no, GoPro obviously would fit because it's just a little connector. So here we go. So I recommended this without seeing it. It was it's $20. It's hard to find any tripod for $20 that is not absolute junk. So it folds around and there are instructions, but what kind of assist are you using? Okay, so you can do 2 or so you can even almost, I guess that is flat. So you can do 3 different angles. It has the screw type legs. I like those better than the like the little clamps that come down. The clamps are a little easier to deal with, but they also loosen up over time. So get it delicate. And it's a little stiff. And there you go. So there's my tripod. The centerpiece goes up and down. And I'm guessing that the bottom, somehow it says it converts to a monopod. I believe it. They wouldn't lie to me. I seem like a really nice guy. One thing that I do like is at the bottom of this, they've got this little hook. So you can like tie a weight to it or like stick a little stake in the ground and tie it to the stake. That way it can't blow over. It's a very nice feature. I like that feature. Oh, whoa. Look at this. So roughly it will go that high, which is, yeah, I have pants on. I can stand up, show you. Yeah, so almost eye height to me. I mean, I'm guessing on the other 2 legs because I've only had one extended, but you know, there you go. So that's really cool. And what I really like about, there's a lot of things I like about the National Geographic brand. I could not care less. That does not add any value whatsoever to me. But I like these fluid heads, and the reason I like them. So you've got this little guy twist, and that determines how much tension is on up and down. And then this one determines how much tension there is side to side. It wasn't twisted on all the way. Now we'll do it. So even when it's super, anyway, so it does, I like these because, you know, if I'm fishing, I may want to tilt left or turn left or right a little bit. And this way, with the ball head, you know, I can go all over the place, which is extra adjustment, which is good, but not for my situation. So there it is, $20. Heck of a deal. It's supposed to hold like 13 pounds of weight on it. Of course, that's centered at the top. And probably goes down based upon how much it's extended and that kind of stuff. Of course, a little thingamaflicker comes off and has the 1/4-inch screw. So I'm really glad about that. I didn't necessarily need another tripod, but for $20, I like having a good backup. Or I could take my good one and make it the backup to this one. Make that the primary. And then this, if it's what I think it is, I'm going to be excited because this should have come from Temu. And it should be something I've been wanting to try. Now, whether I need it or not and whether I'm going to like it or not are 2 different things, but it was finally on sale for a price I was willing to pay. And this is by Vevor. It is a buoyancy kit for a kayak. It's basically outriggers. So you know how the old, I think it's like Polynesian countries, they use like these very skinny canoe things, but then they have these big pontoons out on the sides for stability. That's what these are. So you blow these bags up and you hook up these poles. So one's on each side. Now, again, I don't know if I'm going to like them or not. I've been wanting to try them. And again, the price was finally at a level I was interested in taking a risk, because I've looked on YouTube for videos about it, about these in general. And I've seen like a couple, but they're mostly, well, here's how you put one on your kayak. What good is that? How do you like it? I am sorry. I have not been paying attention. I'm bad about that. I am not ignoring you guys. I'm just temporarily ignoring you. Let's see. Watch for Mississippi. Hey, Keydra, good to see you. Hope you and Tito are doing fantabulous. I do want to go fishing with you guys at some point. I just have to figure out how to fish first. Somebody who I don't know the name of that looks like it's probably Eastern Bloc. Russia, Ukraine, that kind of stuff. What's up, fool? How you doing, bald head? Oh, X from the M18. You know what? You're trying to troll, and I give you credit for that. I appreciate even trying to troll me. Most people just won't even go that far. I mean, you suck at it. Please don't get me wrong. I've you know, it's about as low effort of a troll as you can get. But hey, thanks for coming in and trying, man. Maybe, you know, we all get better with practice. So you know, I'm hoping that you know, things improve for you. That you're, you know, maybe this is just something you're trying out, see if you're any good at it. Right now, you're not, but practice makes perfect. From what I'm told, you have to do something for about 10,000 hours to become proficient at it. At least that's what they say about learning how to play guitar. So there's that. Nobody really. Whee! Okay, come on. That's the end of it. That's all we got. Hey, oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Nikki. I know I saw you. I didn't say anything. Hello, Nikki Lee. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I got girl hands. I do, Scotty. I have girl hands. Please do like and subscribe, folks. I am beyond blessed. I truly, truly am. Unfortunately, the good stuff is on my phone, so I can't look at it and tell you. I can look on the other one. It's not going to tell me what I need to know. But so when I left to go to Florida, I had about 2,350 watch hours. As of right now-ish, that's for the year, by the way, I am at 2,798. So carry the one, do all that, like 450 extra hours I got in the last week. Thank each and every one of you. I don't deserve it, but thank you nonetheless. So I started going live. I went live briefly on last Saturday, on the way there because we were in a storm, and then the storm petered out really quick. But so Sunday was when I first started doing any kind of streaming down there. Where was I? Tying rigs, driving through. Okay, so the first video was 31 minutes long. 273 people came in, 9 thumbs up. The next one was also on Sunday for 2 hours and 16 minutes and 15 seconds. 22 thumbs up, 282 people watched. There were a couple of tests that I told people not to come to, but they came to anyway, but that doesn't matter. Then I guess the third one 5 days ago, I guess that was still Sunday. 4 hours and 1 minute, 31 thumbs up, 1,000 views. Then Monday, 3,200 views, 31 thumbs up for almost 5 hours. Did another live stream for 5 minutes and 44 seconds. Got 180 views. I don't remember what that was. I think it died. Another video for 3 hours, 38 minutes, 1.8 thousand people watched, 44 thumbs up. Anyway, then 1.3, then 1.6, then 1.7. Then 2 days ago, which would have been Wednesday, I went surf fishing, 12,000 views. Yesterday, I had one for 10,000 views and another for 17,000 views. I picked up over, I had 1,900 and some odd subscribers when I left. I have 2,200 now. So I picked up about 250 subscribers. Absolutely amazing. Hey, Walker Vidor. Yeah, I mean, he tried to insult me. Not very well. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, like, next he's going to tell me I'm fat. Hey, welcome to, Duhville. Anyway, doesn't matter. At least he didn't, use any racist humor or sexual nonsense, because that will get you cussed out and kicked out. It's just how it goes, people. Now I'm down to a much more manageable 6 people watching and 9 thumbs up. That's more what I'm expecting in a life, folks. But I was super blessed this week, and I want to thank everybody who was a part of it. Came through on the short stream. That helped a lot. Hey, Fat Cat Fishing Fever. What I didn't get, I got a lot of people I'd never seen before, which is great. What I didn't get was a bunch of trolls. I watch other people and they get trolled. Now, I will admit, the way I was fishing was not necessarily conducive to live streaming, in that I couldn't pay attention to chat because I was trying to fish for bait at the same time, often off camera, often on another dock. I did a live stream my surf fishing. I've never seen anybody live stream surf fishing. I've watched a lot of people that do surf fish, but it's all edited videos. I caught a 2-foot, roughly, Atlantic shark nose shark. Unfortunately, it wasn't on camera. I mean, people were there while I caught it. I just never got it over to the camera, and here's the reason. Okay, so in Florida, there are several species of sharks, and you have to know them apart. Sort of. You're supposed to. I don't. And so there are 3 different types. There's one type. There's type number 1 that you can keep any size of. There's type number 2 that has to be a minimum length, like 54 inches, I think, is typically the standard on those. And then there are some you cannot remove from the water. You're supposed to not remove the gills from the water at all. So I didn't know exactly what kind of shark this was. What I did know was it had a hook in its mouth, and I wanted to remove it. I thought I could safely remove it, so I did that. So I did bring it out of the water, but I didn't bring it far out of the water because, again, I was not trying to break laws. I thought it better to remove the hook than to cut the line and leave it in there. Another thing that I didn't realize till I went back, so Ashley has pictures. I will put the pictures up. I promise. I didn't realize till I looked at the pictures. I mean, I should have. I mean, I knew what I was using. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together because that's math. Math is hard. If I didn't say hi, Dick. Oh, good night. Hello, Dixie. You almost got me. Almost got me. I do like names like that are cute, but I mean, let's face it, if that's your name, it's not. It's just itty bitty one. Itty bitty. You have what they call a teeny weeny peeny. Okay. If you have to tell everybody how big it is, it ain't. Of course, if you have to tell everybody how small it is that small. Anyway, we're not going to go there. Doesn't matter. You almost got me. Good attempt. And I have a feeling it's probably Dobson anyway. It may not be Dobson. I don't know. But I've seen that name before. I think it's cute. I think it's funny. I think there's humor there, right? You're trying to get somebody to say something stupid, and you don't have to do anything to get me to say something stupid. I do that for free. Free, I tell you. Sorry, I'm a little bit parched. Anyway, back to the shark. I caught it on a pompano rig. And the pompano rig had 20-pound Trilene Big Game Mono, which has a breaking strength of about 28 pounds. How I know is that I have tested that. And I was using it with the Surgeon's Loop, which is... I know I just tore off some line somewhere. Here. Ooh, look, line everywhere. Yay! Come here. So those little things that I showed a few minutes ago are actually going to come in real handy for me. I got knots in this crap. Oh, Lord. There's a fix for that. Watch this. Boop. The end. Bye bye. Bye bye, love. Okay, so a surgeon's loop. You take a loop, you loop the line with this. You do an overhand knot, you go under once, and then you go around it and do it again. So you have two loop. You went into that 2 times, and then you pull it tight, and that's a double surgeon. Or it's called a surgeon's loop on my knot strength test playlist. I call it a double surgeon's loop because I have also tried it with 3 of those knot turns instead of just 2, so that I could, I guess, distinguish between them. So, speaking of that, on my channel, I have some tutorials on how to tie knots, but I also have tutorials, or not tutorials, but a playlist on knot strength testing. And oh my goodness, I am not tooting my own horn because there's no reason to. I'm just that awesome. I've been curious about the strength of different knots. We've all heard, that the Palomar is the strongest knot, or the Uni knot is the strongest knot, or this is the best connection for this, that, and the other between braid and mono or whatever, right? Well, we've all heard that. And I'm the kind of the trust but verify kind of type. And I'd seen different people that have done these knot strength tests. The problem that I've seen is either they didn't test the strength of line, like catfish weight stuff. They were, doing crappie and bass level stuff. You accidentally skid marked your undies. Well, that's amazing. You will learn later in life to never trust a fart. Also, never trust a commenter because they say stupid shit. Now, I mean, if that's what makes you happy, you just want to tell everybody, hey, I pooped my pants, and I go for it. I mean, sometimes we just overshare, and it's okay. Hello from London. I'm assuming that's London, England, and not London, Connecticut. That's New London, Connecticut. And I don't care. Anyway, hello, Londonite. The other thing that I saw when people would, use like a fish scale, and they put a camera over the fish scale, and of course it didn't register the highest weight. It would just, until it broke and then went back to zero. But they would pull real slowly. But, when you're, how I don't have 100 different pieces of mono up here, I don't know. So when does your line break when you're fishing? When you set the hook, or when the fish turns and runs off? It's a quick bump, right? So this slow pull doesn't do any good. Now my tester, it pulls it. I have a mechanical puller, and it pulls at 0.7 inches per second because that's the fastest one that I could find that I was willing to pay for. You're going to return them to Amazon. First off, you can't return underwear that's been worn because of hygiene laws. Second, again, I like being trolled. I just want you to put some more thought and effort into it, and maybe, I don't know, not suck quite so bad at it. Okay, just take a little extra time. Think something actually funny to say. Something where that's gonna be, people are gonna laugh. I crapped my pants is not funny. Especially when you crap your pants, you know how not funny it is. Again, never ever trust a fart. So anyway, I've done a lot of tests, and I'll tell you one thing that I'm wanting to try. There's some 10-aught hooks, and I'll show it to you. I'm not ready to start the testing on it yet because I'm not. But and this is 60-pound line, and it's near the end of the spool. It's got a whole bunch of memory in it. So the no knot Snell, I'm going to do it from the wrong way. You always have to have the standing end available. Like this is the line, this is the part you tie the swivel and you tie the line, all that kind of stuff. So the no knot Snell, you just, you run it through the tag in through the eye of the hook, and then you wrap it, however many times makes you happy, at least 5 or 6 or so or whatever. Well, somebody said, hey, what do you think how's the strength of the egg loop knot? Well, I'd heard of the egg loop knot, but I never cared about the egg loop knot because the egg loop knot is for using with things like eggs, salmon eggs, stuff like that, right? So you got your no knot snelt, and if you don't let go of it, it works better. Okay, so we wrap it around the tag end and the shank, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever makes you happy. You put the standing end through just a little bit. And I should have done this with a piece of mono that doesn't have quite so much memory. Okay, so this is a standing end that would go up to your swivel and stuff. And I've taken it way too far, but there's a reason for that. So what I'm going to do now, so I take the standing end, and I pull it down here, and this is a horrible way. This I'm not even gonna bother because there's so much memory in this line you can't even see what I'm talking about. But anyway, it fixes one of the problems of the no knot snell, and that is that the memory of the line makes it want to loosen itself up. It doesn't. I've never had one untie itself completely, but it's just not a good feeling when you see your knot loosen up because it doesn't have an actual knot in it. Well, the egg loop knot actually goes over the standing end a few times, so that it doesn't come loose, which is really not. No, you're not funny. You're talking about crapping your underwear and sending them back to Amazon. It's actually illegal, for one, to send feces through the mail, unless you've got the exemption of being a lab or something like that, because it's, with toxic substance, but bacteria-laden substance. So it's not actually legal to do that. Not that you care, because you weren't going to do it in the first place. You just want to make a very bad joke, and that's okay. Whatever makes you happy, right? So open up packages I got. Talked a little bit about my trip to Pensacola. I didn't catch a lot of good stuff. I caught that shark. I've been wanting to catch a shark. Well, I tried to roast you, but it didn't work very well. I mean, now you have roasted underwear, but whatever. I've got a few different infections on my hands from getting stabbed by things. Did not get stabbed by a catfish, but, just different critters, including the blue crab, that decided he clamped onto my thumb and made me bleed. So it was so sad. Then I used him for bait the next day, and he was sadder than I was. So I caught a blue crab on hook. I mean, I didn't catch him on the hook. He came in with the bait. He didn't let loose until he was up on the dock, and then it was over for him. And the sad part for him, it was the last rod I was reeling in. I was headed back. I was going to the house to go to bed. It was literally the last of the 4 rods, and I picked him up when I know they can claw you, and I know that it hurts, and I know that it can draw blood. I've read all that, heard all that. But I thought I grabbed him far enough back. I did not. Then he grabbed me, and he learned a couple of new words. And I got my crab tongs, because I actually had gone down there with crab tongs and a couple of crab nets to try to catch crabs, and I caught 0 crabs in my crab nets. I caught one very briefly in a crab trap, but it fell out of the hole that it's supposed to have, that it's required to have in it, so that bycatch can get out, because it turned it the wrong way. Anyway, not the point. So this was a full-size crab. I got the crab tongs. He grabbed down with both of his claws, and those are strong claws. And I put him in a bucket and saved him for the next day because he made me bleed. And I cut him into 4 pieces. And I didn't catch a fish off him, but I had fun. I also caught a couple of gar, which was one. I'm typically not interested in catching gar. Most people aren't. But hello, Fidel Castro. Good to see you again, my friend. I remember that name. It's easy to remember a name of a dictator. Yeah, if it were just a commentator, it was not. But it's when you're that kind of tater, Anyway, but I did get to try. I caught it with my PC Fun Alios 400 reel, and I actually caught 2 gar. Hooked a third that got off, and a 4th one I broke the hook off of the line as I tried to lift him up, which I didn't care about because I didn't really care to land him anyway. I just wanted to land him to get the hook out of him, and he left it the hook, and that's fine with me. But I was surprised. I did not expect gar in saltwater. But the PC Fun Alios 400s held up nicely, gave me a good, the drag was good, felt good, cranking them in, everything felt good and solid. While the biggest one was probably maybe 10 pounds. Hey, Gillmaster. Hey, Wolfgang, you want to hear an anthropology fact? You study anthropology and archaeogenics. Okay, Wolfgang, I don't know how to tell you this, my friend. That sounds about as boring as me being ugly. But I'll take your fact. I like learning facts. My titties are incredible. My man. Nipply doodah, nipply yay. Okay? Okay. You deserve this, Snoopy little. This. Sub-Saharan Africans only trace 0.2 to 0.5% to Neanderthal compared to 2% in European and Asians, but up to 19% DNA in archaeological diverge hundreds of thousands of years older. That is a lot of words. That is more words than I think I've read in a while. You live in South Africa. You've caught a 34 kilogram, 3 foot 11 inch catfish with barber with a normal fisherman's knot. What is a normal fisherman's knot? That sounds like a dumb question, but it's not. A lot of knots are called the fisherman's knot. I've seen the trilane knot called the fisherman's knot. I've seen the clinch knot be called the fisherman's knot. I've heard of a uni knot that they doubled the line through the eye first, called a fisherman's knot. So there's a whole bunch of different knots that could be called the fisherman's knot. So 44 kilograms, 2.2 pounds gives me 88 plus, I'm not going to go there. We'll call it 95 pounds. Congratulations. 3 foot 11 inches. Seems heavy for a 4 foot catfish. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, Snoop Delicious, the only thing I can tell you about my titties is, yes, they are incredible, but your mom's is even better. Of course, I'm sure you stare at hers through her bedroom window on a regular basis, so you already knew that. That's okay. But thanks to Snoopy, Snoop Delicious, y'all are going to get to hear a story when I was in high school. So I tried to be funny in high school. I get picked on in high school. I was a shorter guy back then. I just like to goof off and stuff. And one day in English class, I told my English teacher, everybody's always picking on me. And Miss Kelly said, okay, we're going to have a Be Kind to Mike Day. I thought that was funny. She said, I'm going to go around the room and everybody's going to say something nice about Mike. And, of course, I was laughing the whole time. So I'm in the third seat on the far right row. So they start with the girl in the front, and she can't come up with anything. So she goes to the second person, and she didn't come up with anything. And then she's like, okay, let me start on the other side of the room. Maybe, kind of get this ball moving. And my buddy holds out and says, Miss Kelly, I got something. She said, okay, Kenan, what's your nice thing to say about Mike? He said, Mike, you have nice breasts. And he was the other side of the room. My side of the room was closest to the door. He beat me to the door. He went running. I went running. We, got about 10 steps down the hall and just busted out laughing. So, y'all can blame Snoop Delicious on that. Because y'all got to hear a story about when I was younger and something stupid that happened in high school. And it was kind of funny. So thank you for that, Snoop Delicious. You suck at life, but you still were nice enough to say something that made everybody else get a story out of it. Anyway, back to the things that I caught. So again, really like those pieces of Alios 400s. I am not sponsored. I'm not pushing any product on anybody. I don't get anything for free. I pay full price just like everybody else. I did get them on sale, but that is a sale that was not a discount given to me. That was a sale at a retailer. I got them for $99 a piece. They normally are, I think the list price is $199, but you can find them on sale for $129 to $149 fairly regularly. I can't tell you I'd pay $199 for them. Can't tell you I'd pay $199 for any reel ever. But that being said, they're a low profile bait caster. They hold a lot of line. They have a bait clicker on them. And the ones I bought, they're the highest speed. I want to say 8.6 to 1 gear ratio. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's 8.1 to 1. I don't remember. Anyway, it's the higher gear ratio. They have two different models of the 400. And they also have the Alios 300, which is a smaller version, still larger than most low profile bait casters, holds less line than the 400, and also does not have a bait clicker. The Alios 400 has, I want to say something like 35, 36 pounds of drag. You don't need that much drag, okay? You're talking about, and I'd have to do some science on this, and science is hard, math is hard, all that kind of fun stuff. And people have tried, they've got down to 6 people. I mean, y'all have stuck through the boring parts. But you would have to be using something like, I'm guessing, 60-pound line and be able to break it to need 36 pounds of drag. And that's because of, like I say, the shock factor when he just zooms off, and also the rod taking some of the hit and all this kind of stuff. So I'm making up numbers there, but I would say it'd have to be really, I can't imagine anything that I would pull in that I needed that much drag for. That's it. That's all there is to it. I did catch my first and only spotted sea trout. It was 12 inches long, 15 to 19 inches the slot limit. You can't keep them below 15 or above 19. But I was just happy to catch one. It's a saltwater fish. I've fished freshwater all my life. Never been saltwater fishing until 2 years ago. Saltwater fish, a lot of them have teeth. I mean, lots of teeth. I mean, you may stick your thumb in that mouth and you may not get it back, kind of teeth. Well, the spotted sea trout, which is not actually a trout at all, has these 2 fangs that stick down in the front of the mouth. Very sharp ones. They do break off. I've seen them with 1 or 0, but they're almost like needle-like, and they're not short. So, having said that, hey, Mike Irvin, appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming in. Thank you for all your support this week. It was amazing. I am beyond blessed. I want to thank everybody that even took a second out of their day to say hi, to like my video, to watch my video, to subscribe to me, and whatever. I am honored, truly honored, and overwhelmed by the amount of support I've had this week. What's my PB, largemouth, smallmouth? I can't tell you the smallmouth because I never really got one big enough that I thought was worth weighing. So, a couple pounds probably. I did catch a 5-pound largemouth, and I caught it with my baby, my oldest daughter, who was a baby at the time, and my wife on the boat with me. That was the icing on the cake. I've caught one since then that was probably bigger. I did not weigh it because I was catfishing with cut bait, and it was at the gathering last year, which is in East Tennessee, gathering of people who are on YouTube or people who watch YouTube, and the catfish community and that kind of stuff. Anyway, I was catfishing, and I was away from my equipment. I was over hanging out with people, and I went back over to get something from my equipment over there, and one of the bait clickers was going off. I reeled it in. I walked back with this bass. He was probably more than 5 pounds, but it doesn't matter. To me, it didn't count as me catching it. I mean, I reeled it in. It was my rod, it was my bait, and all that kind of stuff. But it was like it. For a catfish, I could count it, but a bass, no, because that's not how you fish for bass. You're watching Bassmaster Saga. I used a chatterbait with a pink trailer. How did the bass go after that? Speechless. And can I ask what you think about that one? Well, of course. And Lawson Barrett, thank you for your question as well. So, Guildmaster, here's what I think about it. So, Artificial lures that are designed to catch fishermen, not fish. I didn't come up with that on my own. We've all heard it before. And that's what it comes down to, right? There have been studies. Here's my favorite analogy. And I realize it's not actually a great, perfect one. But around the same time as bleeding red hooks came out, you remember those? They're red hooks, and they're still around to this day. And those hooks are there because the fish will see the red and think it's blood. About that same time, there was a brand of line that came out called Cajun. It was red monofilament. And why was it red? Because it's the first color that disappears underwater. So it's the reason you want to get this Cajun line. It's because the fish can't see red. Wait. I need red lines so the fish can't see it. I need red hooks so the fish can see it. So apparently red is, in fact, the first color of the spectrum that becomes invisible to fish underwater. I think it's a depth of maybe 5 feet. I forget. There's this whole spectrum. They've done this. Anyway, I've heard people say that pink is the best color for crappie and that it's the best visible for crappie. I don't know. And so that's kind of where my knot strength testing came from, is a lot of people say a lot of things and you try to figure out what's what. So I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I can't make a claim one way or the other. I just thought it was diametrically opposed as to why you should use red. So I don't like trailers. I don't like jig trailers. I don't like spinnerbait trailers. I don't like chatterbait trailers. And the reason I like trailers is because it makes the bait heavier and it makes the bait harder to reel in. I'm lazy. You will not catch, well, you might actually catch me using a 7 or 8 inch swim bait, but that's going to be in the salt water and it's going to be trolling. I'm not casting one of those SOBs. I'm not casting a 2 or 3 ounce lure and reeling it in. No, I barely like using a baby Zara spook, and that's just because I love topwater action and I really don't use that very often. So chatterbaits, they give a different vibration in theory. And so it's something that the bass hadn't seen before. And of course, now they see them all the time. And the trailer is supposed to provide, I don't know, more bulk and more movement and more thises and more thatses. And yeah, honestly, there are a couple of different reasons why fish bite. One, they're hungry. We know that, right? But most of what you're trying with bass fishing is you're trying to get a reaction bite. That's why fishing the beds is so doggone productive. They are there protecting their nest. Anything that enters the nest, they are going to pick it up and blow it away. So they don't have hands. Flicking a tail doesn't work nearly as well as just. That's what they do. If you ever, from what I hear, when they eat crawfish, that is how they eat crawfish. They pick it up, spit it out, pick it up, spit it out, trying to break off the claws because they don't like the claws either. Because, you know, they hurt. That's what I've heard. I have never played enough with them. But I've watched bluegill do exactly. They will pick you put a bait in their bed, they're gonna pick it up, and they're not there to eat it. They're not feeding. They're trying to get you away from their little babies or their soon-to-be babies or however that works. Well, bass are reaction feeders. So you're trying to get that reaction bite out of them. So that's, so I don't know that color matters as much as interfering with or putting out vibration that they can sense with their lateral line and all that fun scientific hoochamahajas. And you know, there's the you know, in clear water you're supposed to use bright colors, or in stained water or dark water supposed to use bright colors so they can see it differently, or you're supposed to use dark colors because, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the number of twists and knots. Some people say, well, for thinner mono or for thinner line, you need to use less twist, and for thicker, you need more. And the other people are like, no, for thicker, you need fewer. There's a lot of There's a lot of words out there that are being used, and we're trying to make sense of what a critter is thinking. Most predators are opportunistic, even comes down to humans. Think about the victims of crime, purse snatchings and stuff like that. They look for easy targets, right? Or they look for obnoxious targets in the case of fish. Like all the catfish I caught this week, their bellies were just full. They were not hungry. They were like, hey, there's food. Let's eat it. Right? So a lot of, I'm about to make an ass out of myself. Bass fishing is the worst at this particular issue. But if it weren't for bass fishing and the sport of bass fishing, conservation of all of the species of fish would not be where it is today. I firmly believe that. So I don't hate bass fishermen, but, and this is why I'm very surprised that any tournament trail has even considered limiting the usage of live scope. Okay. In its purest form, a fishing tournament is I can catch more fish than you. Oh, really? You want to bet on it? Sure. Let's go fishing. That's the purest form. Then they found out there's money in it. Well, we can wager some money. Well, now, okay. Now, how do I make money? How do I make money off of people wagering who the better fisherman is without being the better fisherman? They became the casino. The house takes a cut. But wait, there's more. So not only does the house take a cut, the promoter of the tournament, whatever. Wait, I can get sponsors because they want people to buy these products. So these manufacturers are making products that they want to sell to fishermen, and I got fishermen right here. And the fishermen that do very well are then sponsored by these folks because we want you on TV using our lure or our boat or our outboard or our this or our electronics or our live scope. Again, I'm surprised that the industry turned far enough away from show me the money to even consider limiting live scope. I'm not going to, I will not say it's cheating. What I will tell you is it is a tool, and the people who are well versed at the tool are going to do better with that tool. I am not well versed in it. I'm not going to spend $1,500 for a live scope setup. I don't want to. If I wanted, if I wanted to watch sonograms all day, I would have gone into, being a sonographer, and watch people's bellies and babies, stuff like that, right? Because I'm not. I am not saying it's not useful. I'm not saying it's not a good tool. I'm saying that the only drawback I can even come up with for it is it helps people who are mediocre fishermen fish better. You still have to find the fish. If you can't find the fish, it doesn't matter how much live scope you have. You can't see what ain't there, right? So anyway, I just went on a big tangent. But anyway, so when you see baits, a lot of times that is what the sponsor is telling them to use. I want to see this bait on TV. I want to, so, and there's a fine line that the angler has to do because he still has to win to keep, he has to do well in the tournaments to keep having the sponsors, right? So it's the people that do it well, do it well. The people who don't do it well are me. I'm also very against Like Kevin Van Dam has, I want to say VMC. I may be wrong on the hook manufacturer. Maybe it's Mustad. I don't remember. One of them has some KVD treble hooks. Kevin Van Dam, excellent fisherman. Seems like a really nice guy. All that kind of fun stuff. I do not believe that a hook with his name on it is going to be better than another hook. It has a different design. I don't know if I care about it. I typically don't use treble hooks. So there's that, right? I remember I was at a pond a few years ago, and I caught a rod. I mean, we've all done that. This was a Bill Dance rod and reel combo. Now, this was probably a $20 or $30 rod reel combo at Walmart. It was a piece of crap. If I were Bill Dance, I wouldn't have put my name on it. On the other hand, Bill Dance probably gets money for every one of them sold, and he has to do nothing but let them use his name. So there's that, and I am certainly the great American hooker, anything for enough money. So, as you can see, I talk myself in circles a lot, but I put a lot of thought into these things, and I'm torn, right? I'm not throwing shade at anybody in specific, but like I watched a live stream fairly recently, and the person was at a fishing expo of equipment and stuff, and walked past this one brand of weights and said, "Oh, these are the best weights on the market." And that was it. Here's the brand. You should buy them. They're the best weights on the market. What makes them the best? What makes you qualified to know that they're the best? How many brands have you used? Why are they the best? Don't tell me they're the best and again, I'm not throwing shade at any particular person. That is an example I saw, and it rubbed me the wrong way. I see people talking about this or that brand of hook, and they mention it 50,000 times in every video they do. It's very clear by the shirts and the hats and everything else they're wearing. They're sponsored by these people. Why should I buy these hooks? Tell me why I should buy these hooks. What makes them superior? Give you an example. I have these Mustad 10-aught Demon Perfect inline circle hooks, black nickel and 10-aught. Yay. Why did I buy these? Because it's a 50-piece pack and I got them at a good price. Mustad they have different levels of their hooks. They make decent hooks. These are very decent hooks. They're good size. They've got good strength to them. They're, and they're reasonably priced. I will use when I was doing bass tournaments, I would buy Gamakatsu hooks. They are expensive hooks. They are good quality hooks. They at the time and maybe still are considered the best on the market. Jang Alang. Oh, that's so funny. I need to buy an exercise machine. Why do you think I need one of those? I have a closet. I don't need a treadmill to hang my clothes on. Oh, buy a treadmill, sir, not hookers. Oh, you are so funny. Have you ever, pulled your head out of your ass? I mean, I don't want to tell you this. I don't want to be mean to you, but you're a fucking idiot. You know why you're a fucking idiot? Because that's the best shit you can come up with, and you worked hard to come up with that. You said, you know what I'm going to do today with my pathetic ass life? I'm going to get on YouTube, and I'm going to go into various streams, and I'm going to say the dumbest fucking thing I can come up with because I'm a giant goddamn asshole. I mean, I know you think you're funny. I love a good troll. You're a bad one. You're just dumber than a day is long. If you were dynamite, you couldn't blow your own fucking nose, dude. Okay? So here's what we're going to do with you. Okay? It's just exercise, man. It's easy. Listen, you little bitch. I go out dancing 2 or 3 nights a week for a few hours. Okay? I have my little Garmin smartwatch. It tells me how many steps I take a day. I do actually do some good working. I won't say do huge workouts, but I do get my exercise. And it's none of your fucking business. You, sir, are what we call a failed abortion. Okay. You need to go back, crawl under your mama's skirt, and apologize to her for being the failure in life that you are. Okay. You probably sit at home in mama's basement all day, never had a job, probably just run your mouth because you think you're funny, probably get on, I don't know, Call of Duty on Xbox because you can't upgrade to the latest Xboxes. Can't buy any video games because your mom won't give you any allowance because you're a lazy piece of shit that doesn't do anything with your life. So how about you take this middle finger and shove it straight up your ass? Okay? I'm not mad at you. I'm just sad that people like you exist. You are the type of person that makes me support abortion rights. Now, with that being said, we're going to play a game of go fuck yourself, and you are now gone. Don't come back, ever. Matter of fact, whatever device you're using to get on the internet, take a hammer and smash it because you don't deserve it. You are a waste of space. You are a waste of air. I wouldn't use you as bait for catfish. I wouldn't use you as bait for hardhead catfish. Now be gone, little boy. Yeah, Gilmaster. I don't mind trolls. It's just, God, some of them just suck. I mean, truly. I watched this one lady that does a lot of catfishing. Very nice lady. People come on there and go, oh, a meth head. No, not a meth head. Your wife's boyfriend thinks you fish too much. Well, actually, your wife's boyfriend does not think you fish too much. Your wife's boyfriend thinks you don't fish enough, which is why he is your wife's boyfriend. And, I'm sure you like to watch when you're, get home. Corey Harrison from Pawn Stars. Okay, I've seen Pawn Stars. Corey has more hair than I do and a lot more personality. More tattoos. Actually funnier than I am. Hey, Nun, how you doing? What do you do on YouTube? Cause right now I talk. I had a fantastic spring break. I was down in Pensacola, Florida, and I did live streams every day I was down there. It was amazing. It was truly an amazing experience. And part of this quick live stream was to thank everybody that was a part of that helped me get all the watch hours, that subscribed to my channel, that gave me the likes and all that kind of stuff. Normally I fish out of the Memphis, Tennessee area. I fish for bluegill, crappie, any kind of panfish, and also catfish. So today we drove back because wanted to get back before, the weekend was over and we had to go back to work and all that fun stuff. Hey, Charlie, I appreciate you. I'm glad you've been subbed for a while. I really do appreciate everybody here. And yeah, Corey Harrison has way more money than I do, way more personality, and he's a funny dude. He really is. At least he didn't call me Chumley when he was fat. He got skinny and all that. Yeah, he's still kind of a dopey kid. But again, he got way more money than I do. Way more. And I had a bunch of packages that I got from Amazon and Temu and whatever. And I showed off what was in those because especially the big thing I wanted to talk about was, and I've talked about it a few times, the National Geographic tripod. I don't know if it's still on sale. If it is, today would be the last day on Woot. And I did a short on it, and it has a link in the description. You're welcome to check it out. And if it's dead, I will update that here pretty soon and let everybody know. But I got it in, and it was $20. On Amazon, they had it for $105. It's not a $105 tripod, but it is a nice little tripod. Where'd I put it? Here it is. So you got 4 different leg locking parts. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections of each leg. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of each leg. And Then you've got the centerpiece that extends and retracts, but it also has a second part. Sorry, let me. You can, yeah. So you can. I mean, it has a good height to it, and I've been impressed with the level of quality. I mean, again, I wouldn't pay $100 for this thing ever, but it seems pretty nice, and it has the fluid head, which is what I like that style. It's the video style head that you could turn left and right or go up and down. Whereas the ball head, it can do multiple movements at the same time, which if you loosen it up, you can just fall over side too. So that's I wanted to show that because I had told people about it, and normally if I find an item on sale that I haven't that I've used, I will if it's a good, and I do mean good deal, like this is probably worth 3 times the money in my opinion. If it's $5 off of 100, I'm not going to tell you about that. There's too many of those that go around. But if it's a good deal, it's a really good deal, I'll let you know. Like the Pen Pursuit 4 combo when it was $40 on clearance. I told you guys about that. And the Spinfisher 6 live liner with a 7-foot medium heavy rod for $100. I told you about that. And those are not affiliate links or anything like that. It's just me sharing good fishing deals with other folks. And while a tripod is not fishing, it is fishing and YouTube adjacent. So good enough for me. But really, my big thing was Shimano or Daiwa. Actually, Charlie, it's a good question. I appreciate it. So I own both. And I will tell you a piece of disappointment that I have with Shimano. And I will also tell you that I realize it's not a fair disappointment. Okay. So I have a Stratic from over 20 years ago. I took it to the local shop to have it, cleaned and serviced and everything. And when it came back, as you spin the handle and it does fine. But if you did it slowly, it would find there was a piece where it would catch in the oscillation. And I found out that it's the main shaft has a little bend in it. So I tried to get a replacement part from Shimano. And they don't have parts for those reels anymore. Okay. I tell you that because a PC Fun, which still doesn't get to your question, I realize it's a long trip. Just bear with me. So PC Fun makes the Chaos XS 50 and 60. They also make the 40 size, but that doesn't matter. It's a round bait caster. It's not an Abu Garcia. And one of the Abu Garcia is a good Abu Garcia is 3 times the money, right? And people are like, well, but I know I can get parts for this. Well, so there's my Shimano from 20 years ago that I couldn't get a part for. Now, whatever we can call it. Sorry, if you hear the noise, it's just me. This is a knot puller that, so you can pull with braid and stuff. But I'm just screwing it and unscrewing it because I'm an idiot. So, Shimano makes fine reel. Abso-freaking-lutely, they make a fine reel. They also, when I started getting back into pan fishing, I bought some of the Shimano Sierras. Those are the $20, $30 reels, right? They're cheap Shimanos. I know they're cheap Shimanos, but I trust Shimano over Uncle Bob's crappy brand, right? I bought them in the 500 size. Realized I don't like the 500 size. So I got some in the 1,000 size. And I had a problem with them. And my big problem with the reels, if you've ever cast a spinning reel, I'm sure it's happened to you. You'll cast it out there and the handle is in the right spot. So it's usually, it needs to be on the ready to go forward towards the bail. And you have to have, you cast it with enough force. The inertia makes the handle spin, closes the bail, and your cast goes to hell, oftentimes snapping your line in the process, and you lose your lure. They've actually have a video on my channel on how to fix that exact problem. But before I figured that one out, I kind of swore off those reels, and I wanted something better and a little more expensive, right? So I found the Daiwa Regal LT, 50 or 60 bucks when I found them. Okay, now the only thing I don't like about the Daiwa Regal LT and most of their LT series is they're only available with deep spool, which means it holds a buttload of 4-pound line, and I do mean a buttload. But mono's cheap, whatever. That's my only thing I don't like about those. I love everything else about them. And, you know, if I put them up like against a Fluger President or something like that, I'll take the Daiwa Regal. I just feel like it stays smoother longer. What do I think about my neck rubbing against my chest? Well, I like it more when my neck rubs against your mom's chest and your wife's chest, but whatever makes you feel good there, Mr. Warhammer. Perhaps if you didn't get your penis stuck in the lock of a doorknob on a regular basis, because that's the only thing that you can get it to fit into, we wouldn't be having these questions. But whatever makes you happy, brother. I mean, I love a good troll. You suck at it as much as you suck at life, but whatever makes you happy. So, call the locksmith, see if he can find your penis for you. Could be just a hair and you just weed out of the wrong thing. I don't know. So, Charlie, back to where you were talking about. So I think Shimano makes an excellent, smooth, awesome reel. I think that every brand's budget reels are not as good as I would like them to be. The brand I am most disappointed in is Abu Garcia, because they've always been a round bait caster, good quality stuff. And they've come out with cheap import. Well, Sweden's always been an import, but whatever. Yeah, Chinese junk reels that they sell like Walmart. So, when I've always thought about an Abu Garcia ambassador reel, I mean, it's been quality, right? But they came out with lower end reels as well, which everybody does it. I don't know why Abu Garcia is the one that makes me upset, but it happens as it happens. So, be that as it may, my favorite reels right now. Okay, I'll go back. I'll give you one more example. So for Christmas, not this last year, but the year before, my girlfriend asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and the Daiwa Fuego was on sale. And I said, that's the reel I want. So she got me a Fuego. I do not use Daiwa baitcasters, so I'm going to use Shimano baitcasters. The Corrado is and has been an amazing reel for the last decades. It's just a good one. I really haven't used Daiwa baitcasters. I fished with a bass club out of Dallas a little over 20 years ago, and I didn't know what to buy, and the people in the club were like, look, if you're going to buy a baitcaster, the Shimano Corrado, and that's back in when the Corrado B was around. I think they're up to the H or whatever, past that. Corrado Cat, no, they're past the K's now. And they were like 100, 120 bucks. So it's not their highest end, but it was kind of their best value proposition. So I've always liked Shimano baitcasters. That's what I learned on, which is also why I like low profile baitcasters. Now, I don't use any Shimano I don't use any baitcasters from Shimano except the Corrado. I've got 2 of those. I don't use any other brand of baitcaster like Daiwa or anything like that, except for PC Fun and Abu Garcia for catfishing. I've not gotten into the BFS type stuff, although I do like a baitcaster more than a spinning reel. I'm not sure what I have around my foot. It's a piece of plastic. Okay. Anyway, I like the Daiwa spinning reels. I also like Penn because they've gotten into saltwater. So Penn is one of those. They also make baitcasters, as you know. Penn is not the smoothest, definitely not the lightest, but they're built like tanks. And yes, BFS looks like a lot of fun. So when I did bass fishing, You did the majority, everything that you could do on a bait caster, you would. And if it was too light to be able to cast with a bait caster, yeah, that's when you get your spinning reels out. And now the BFS, you're supposed to be able to cast really lightweight stuff with them in a bait caster, which sounds incredible. I like the energy transfer of a bait caster is better than a spinning reel, because when you crank, you're on the same plane as the spool, right? There are reduction gears and all that kind of stuff, but you're reeling the same way or the same axis that the spool is. On a spinning reel, it's the exact opposite. You have to do a 90-degree in there. And so you don't get the same energy transfer. Like this last week, I was fishing. I had the PC Fun Alios 400s and the Spinfisher 6500 side by side. Spinfisher being a spinning reel and the Alios being a low-profile bait caster. Reeling in the same size fish was just easier on a bait caster. That simple. You also have better control over your casting with a bait caster. I have better accuracy. In theory, you can spin, you can cast. There's no theory. You can cast further with a spinning reel because there is no feathering the line, the thumb, all that. There is nothing. You can't. Well, you can sort of. You can get wind knots in a spinning reel, but you can't backlash like you can with a bait caster, right? They're just, bait casters are far superior technology, and I have an idea that would revolutionize bait casting, but I don't have enough energy and money to put into designing it, and I don't want to give it away for free. But the one thing that a spinning setup has, one of the few pros of the spinning setup over a casting setup is the eyes are all on the bottom. So there is no way that your line, as you're reeling in, is going to rub or go to the side of the rod blank. Where with a bait caster, a standard bait caster, and yes, they have spiral wrap, but whatever. You get better you can get better sensitivity, in my opinion, out of a spinning rod. Anyway, but as far as the casting ability of the bait caster, other than distance, the control, the accuracy, you name it, is better with a bait caster all the way around. So the equipment I use, again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. Nobody gave me crap for free. I use the PC Fun Chaos XS round bait casters because they're inexpensive, because they're decent enough quality. Those are my catfish reels. I also have some Abu Garcia catfish specials, which I got on sale for like 60, 70 bucks versus 150. That's why I have them. Same with my carp special reels. Those are round bait casters as well. I really like these Alios 400s. Just because they're a big, low profile, high capacity, strong, with a bait clicker, bait caster. The round bait casters usually have bait clickers as well, but I really like a low profile bait caster because that's what I learned on. My spinning stuff, I've got, for saltwater, it's going to be Penn. For freshwater, it's going to be Daiwa, or I've got a few Shimano, those little ones I talked about, the Siennas. They're still left over. I've got a couple of President reels from Pflueger, but my Daiwa Regal LTs are my favorite. The Frago probably will be my favorite when I spend more time with it, but it's also 2,500 versus 1,000 size. So there's that. PC Fun. Yes, I have no quarrel with recommending the PC Fun Chaos XS or the PC Fun Alios reels. I've heard their spinning reels can be good too. I just haven't done it. Quantum is like Quantum is to Zebco the way Lexus is to Toyota, in my opinion. Except that I don't like Zebco. I mean, Zebco's cheap stuff. Don't get me wrong; it's not bad for what it is, but Quantum has never. They just never crossed my radar that way. I've never seen a Quantum reel that I was like, I got to have that, because I think of them as souped up Zebcos. But another brand that has a not so great reputation in my mind is Shakespeare, but the Ugly Stick is a pretty damn good rod. So there's that. The PC Fun, the Chaos reels for $50, they're hard to beat in a round baitcaster. It's as simple as that. For if you need that kind of line capacity, they are a good value. Now, are they as good as an Abu Garcia? I don't think they are. Do they have the parts availability? Who knows? Can you take it down to your mom and pop tackle store, tackle shop and them have parts for it in stock? No. They can service. I mean, it's not like rocket science, right? But if they need to replace parts and they don't, and if those particular parts are not compatible with Abu, then they've got to figure out how to get them. Okay. You know, if you need a line pawl for an Abu Garcia, most places are going to have that crap in stock, right? There you go. You got them for free because you're like, and that's the thing, free is a hell of a good price. Those Alios 400s, I really am impressed by. It was hard for me to spend $100 a piece on them because PC Fun is a value brand, in my opinion. Cast King, you've probably heard of them. I liken them to Cast King, although I have gotten a few things from Cast King, and other than a few of the rods that they've discontinued, I haven't had great luck with their stuff. I had a Cast King Rover 50 or 60, I forget. Anyway, it's in the Gulf of Mexico somewhere. I mean, now the Gulf of America, but back then it was the Gulf of Mexico. Because something pulled it in. I was not sad to lose it. One of the YouTubers I used to watch, he talked about the Rovers. He said after about a year, they start feeling kind of gritty and clunky. Whether or not, I don't know. Mine never gave me any problems, and it was saltwater rated, as are the PC Fun. We'll see. Uncle gave them to me because I had the rod. Right, there you go. I mean, and that's the thing. I don't want to say this. This sounds very bad. One man's trash is another man's treasure. But I grew up when I lived on a farm, had a little farm pond. I cannot tell you how many Zebco 202 reels I wore out. And they were, I don't know, $3, $4, $5 back then. They were the cheapest reel I could find. And I kept replacing them. So, they were spin cast reels, or cheap spin cast reels. I ain't gonna lie to you. Whatever you can afford, man. There's stuff out there in every price point. At some point, the value proposition is gone, right? So is a Abu Garcia Ambassador at $150 3 times as good as a PC Fun Chaos XS50? My opinion, no. Because I can buy 3 of those for 1 of those, right? And there you go. Is it say that I wouldn't spend $150 on a Abu Garcia Ambassador if I felt like it? But then there are, like in the Shimano, I forget what the the top level was at the time, probably the Calais and the low profile bait casters. 350, $400 when I could get a Corrado for $100. Yeah, it was nice. I know that there was Chronarch in there as well, the Chronarch MG, and it was probably $300. And I bought a Chronarch MG, and because magnesium and all of them, I returned it. It wasn't better enough than the Corrado. So, what ambassadors did you have, though? Okay, so there's the like the 6500 C3 or C4. The 3 or the 4 is the number of bearings. Yeah, that's right. 3 or 4 ball bearings in a big giant bait caster. Whereas some of these cheap ones will have 6, 7, 8, 10, 20, whatever. It's the quality of the ball bearings and where they're put that matters. But anyway, if you got the cheap ones from Walmart, I forget the modeling numbers. It's like maybe it's an S. Again, I forget the series, but if it's the $30 or $40 ones, no, thank you. If it says made in Sweden on the side, it's the good ones. So if you manage to break them, you're a better man than I am. But like spinning reels for saltwater, Van Staal is a good brand that I've never used them. They make $800-900 reels. I'm sure they're excellent. I ain't spending that much money on them ever. How do I feel about big tackle stores? That's a hard one, Gil. That is a hard one. Johnny Morris has enough money. Thank you very effing much. I'll start there. I hate that they bought Cabela's because Cabela's was a good competitor for them. They almost bought Sportsman's Warehouse, and I'm glad that did not go through. Sportsman's Warehouse is not as big as any of them, but it is a chain. And I like them. When Bass Pro Shops used to have really good deals. For instance, back in 20 years ago when I bought the Corrados, well, Shimano says you can't advertise for less than their minimum advertised price, which to me is price fixing, but the government says otherwise. Okay, so Bass Pro would give you one of their IM8 graphite blank rods for free as a combo. So, it's the same price as the reel with or without the rod. That's how they got away from it. And, if you ever see coupons that say, cannot be used on this brand, that brand, or the other, Shimano is usually one of them. Because, again, they do not want to devalue their brand by having a race to the bottom on price. I'm sorry, my mustache is itching my nose very badly. So Sportsman's Warehouse, Academy. Academy used to be family owned. I found out in like 2010, 2011, they sold to a conglomerate of some sort. I like those mid-sized stores more. You got to go, man. I appreciate you being here, Charlie. The problem with your local bait and tackle store, they don't have the buying power. They can't get stuff as cheap. I remember there's if you make your own lures, you've probably heard of Barlow's. They are a great place. They're actually in Richardson or Plano, Texas. I forget where it is. I've actually been in the store. I used to live near there. But they did a lot of online business. If you wanted molds for pouring your own lead or lead pots or stuff like that, Barlow's was a place to go to. If you wanted, I think it was jig making supplies. Another one of those. They were big in the online and mail order space. But I'd go in there and I'd find Bass Pro Shops branded like tackle bags because I guess they found them on clearance or something and bought them to sell at a profit. Bass Pro Shops used to have some really good deals. Anyway, Bass Pro Shops can buy the same product cheaper. Same as Walmart has done to a number of different types of stores. They have buying power. They can buy it cheaper. They can sell it cheaper. Your local bait shops are great for local bait or for bait, live bait, dead bait, whatever. But typically they have to charge so much for tackle. It's hard to support them. I appreciate you, Charlie. Really appreciate you coming in, man. Appreciate the support. So it's a conundrum, right? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't support your local bait shop, then they go out of business because they can't stay in business without customers. So that's tough. It's tough, but why would I spend $20 more one place than another place? That also doesn't make sense. It's capitalism at its finest, unfortunately. I don't like. I like Bass Pro Shops. I love going into their stores. The one near me that's not the Pyramid one in Memphis. It's a Bass Pro Shops Sportsman's something. It's like a mini Bass Pro Shops, if that makes sense. The one at the Pyramid, that's a big one. And I've been to the big ones. They had them in Dallas. I've been to the one in Springfield. Bass Pro Shops back when it was just a catalog retailer. They had the one store in Springfield. I think was the only one they had. It used to be amazing to go into the stores. But Johnny Morris is a good businessman. And at Tracker Boats, one of the downsides of Tracker Boats has always been they're selling to a price point, which means their boats were often sold with too small of an engine to get to that price point. So, the performance sucked. Whatever the maximum horsepower that your hull is rated at, that's usually the size engine you need for it to perform really well. Hey, Just Buy, appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming in. We're just talking about, I don't know, pretty much anything and everything and nothing at all at the same time. But Johnny Morris has a lot of money, and he has bought a lot of the competing boat companies. I think they own Ranger now. I think they own like Skeeter. And so it used to be, you had Tracker, you had Nitro, and you had whatever their pontoon brand was, maybe Sun Tracker. But they have so many different brands now that they own. And I think it's bad for competition. Boat prices are absolutely absurdly ridiculous now. And I think the lack of competition has at least something to do with that. And bass boats start around $70,000 for anything with, a 200 horse motor on it. It's like, holy God, where have we gone? What have we done with our lives? Where did we go wrong? I mean, I remember buying a brand new Bass Cat Pantera Classic 19-footer with a 200 horsepower. It was when they went from the 2.5 liter to the 3 liter. So this was a 2.5 liter closeout. Got it for under $20,000, right under $20,000. Hey, Shenanigans, how are you, darling? Glad to see you. Appreciate your support this week and everything. I support all the time, but I've had an amazing week. Ton of live streams, ton of support from all of my friends and some new friends, and I appreciate that. I know you've gone live this week and I have not been there, and that's because if I was awake, I was eating or live streaming. So I hope you've had a fabulous week. I will definitely see more of you in the coming weeks. Florida fishing is awesome. I got a shark, a little 2-foot Atlantic sharp nose. I got a 12-inch spotted sea trout. I caught a few gar. Caught a bunch of hardhead catfish. Caught a few gaff top sail cats. And a couple of sand perch and a few croakers and a bunch of pinfish for bait. But the shark was the high point of my week. Even though it was a 2-footer, it was really It was the only bite I got while I was out surf fishing that day for a couple hours. And as I'm reeling it in, I'm like, another bleep, bleep, bleeping catfish. I'm like, that looks like a shark. And then when it was a shark, I've wanted to catch a black tip so I could eat it. I was not sure where the Atlantic sharp nose. I didn't know what kind of shark it was when I caught it. And there are some that you're not even allowed to take out of the water. But even if it wasn't one I was allowed to take out of the water, it was small enough and it had the hook in it and I could get the hook out. And so I got it out of the water and I pulled the hook out. Found out later that I actually could have kept that one and cleaned it. Most of them have a minimum length limit, but the sharp nose does not. But anyway, it's just touching a shark is cool. They have, if you rub it head to tail, it's more of a smooth skin, but if you go from tail forward, it feels like sandpaper, which I had already knew. I had heard that before, but when you feel it, it's like, ooh. And I had a dolphin that came up behind the dock I was on. I got it on video. It was probably 5 feet away from where I was standing. Plus, there was the down from me by about 3 feet probably. But I saw it and it just kind of like rolled over on its side to go, hey, look at me. It was beautiful. I've got a short on it. Florida it's just beautiful. So, I mean, the dock I was on belongs to Ashley's dad. And I've caught not much good there. I've caught several hardheads and sail cats, and it's on the Intracoastal Waterway. And most of the fish that people want to catch are more in the Gulf, which is literally, across an island. But the next door neighbor, and her dad had told me that, there are charters that come up there and they fish for the sea trout all the time. And the neighbor who actually does fish, he told me more about it. He's like, honestly, I on my dock, I see redfish, I see sheep's head, I've seen black drum, obviously the sea trout and a few other things. And he told me I could fish on his dock. I didn't catch anything, but that's not the point. So it was nice to know that I was still in the right area for those. Now, your sheep's head typically are going to be sitting on bridge pilings, or while they're spawning, they're going to be out on the jetties. And I did not go to any of those. Pompano, which is what most people surf fish for. That's why I wanted to go surf fishing. I did not catch a pompano, still have not. I did catch a permit the first time I went surf fishing, which is much rarer than a pompano. I just happened to be. And I've caught a bluefish and stuff like that. But this time around, it was just one shark. And but it was awesome. It was an amazing week. I counted up my hours. It was like 30 some odd hours in 4 days of live streaming that I did, which was amazingly atrocious to me, but whatever. Hey, Death Wolf Zorro. How's it going? Just wrapping up my spring break chat, talking about stuff that happened, and opened up some stuff that I got from Temu and such, and Amazon packages that were waiting for when I got home, stuff like that. Just kind of wanted to say hi to everybody. Shannon, in my first couple of days, my live streams were, maybe 1,000 people or so. The last 2 days, so Wednesday and Thursday, I get up to 10 and 12,000 people. Now, granted, most of them stuck around for all of like 3 seconds, but I picked up several hundred watch hours this week. Started off with about 2,350, and I'm up to, what am I up to? I know over 27 for the year, right? For 365 days. Don't get excited. I mean, you can get excited. I'm handsome and all that. 2,798 hours. So got a lot of hours. Really cool. I'm trying to get to that 3,000 so I can get my partial monetization, and then hoping to roll into 4,000 faster. Downside is a lot of my watch hours came from July of last year, so I got to keep earning more hours. I'm just hoping to get fully monetized before they figure out that I'm going to drop back under 4,000. So yeah, this week has been a blessing. The amount of support I've gotten from both my regulars and some new folks is just amazing. Deathwell, if you don't mind, you can double tap the screen, tell YouTube that you like me. They'll, probably order a psych eval on you because whatever. I'd appreciate it. Also, you can subscribe if you'd like. I do content fishing. I do saltwater a few times a year if I can, whenever I can. But mostly I do freshwater panfish, bluegill, crappie, and catfish. I'm going to be doing more kayak fishing this year. Going to have to figure out how to live stream from a kayak because kayak fishing, kayaking is enough in itself. Trying to fish out of a kayak increases the difficulty level of each activity exponentially. And then when you try to live stream during it, that's going to add even more complications. So we'll see how that works for us. Anyway, guys, it's been bedtime. I didn't know how long I would be on here, but I've already been on here an hour and 41 minutes. Thank you everyone for spending the time with me tonight. I hope that you have a truly blessed weekend. Thank you for all your support. It means a lot. I cannot explain to you how appreciative I am of each and every one of you that has taken the time to show me some support and some love this week. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. We will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Apparently the button didn't push. We'll try it again. There we go.